All praise to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai by Hashem Rachel Kodesh. Double honor to the apostles and elders of great millstone that were well, and labor in the word and doctrine. Shalom and in peace, and that be unto the elect of the nation of Israel. So in 1 Peter chapter 1, it says, Peter an apostle, Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, to the strangers scattered throughout Pontus, Galatia, Cappadocia, Asia, and Bithynia. Firstly, you pick out that word strangers. Right, so who was Peter an apostle to? Now, Paul was meant to be an apostle to the Gentiles. Right, that's what he's known as, strangers, Gentiles. And generally are known as the same, in the same category. Non-Jews is the general idea. We see here the word strangers. Alright, and the word is
Strong's G 3927. Parepidemos. Parepidemos.
There's one who comes from a foreign country into a city or land to reside there by the side of the natives. Now you even have this in the law. Alright, Exodus 12 and 49. This of course is on the topic of Passover or Pesach. It says, one law shall be to him that is homeborn, and unto the stranger that sojourneth among you. And homeborn, that's a specific title here in this context applied to an Israelite that was born in the land of the Israelites, right? In Jerusalem, so you can understand the Holy Land. One law shall be to him that is homeborn, and unto the stranger that sojourneth among you. So if you were in another land and you came home to keep the Passover, Deuteronomy 16 and 16 goes into 3 times. All your males will appear before the Lord. So you have 3 feasts that all the men are meant to appear before the Lord. Now it says in the place that the Lord appoints. Now the land is where we're meant to keep those holy days. Technically, especially with the offerings, the temple is very integral, to the old law and the way of living in the ancient world. So if you were in a different land and you came home to Jerusalem during the holy days, you'd be considered a stranger, right? It tells you no stranger can keep the Passover, and then it tells you but the stranger and that he that is circumcised. You stranger, what does it say? Stranger and an hired servant once is circumcised. So there's 2 different words for strangers there as well. So you have to be going subdermal. You have to be going deeper than skin deep. Every time you read stranger, it means non-Israelite or even non-Jew. Maybe they weren't in the ways of Jewry. As we later get on dealing with the Gentiles, but ultimately, they were of them tribes. The tribes of Israel, that is. So verse 2, 1 Peter 1 verse 2, elect according to the foreknowledge of God the Father, through sanctification of the Spirit, unto the obedience and sprinkling of blood of Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, grace unto you and peace be multiplied. The word elect, right, another key word, interlinear. Right, so the word elect is actually not in that verse. I believe it's in this verse. When you go into where it says strangers, that's actually the word eklektos, but underneath it is the word where you have for strangers. So to the elect strangers. So even in there, you can tell who it's for.
Strong's G 1588. Eklektos. Eklektos.
And even you can go in the prophets and they'll tell you, Israel mine elect, and Jacob who I have surnamed. Right, Isaiah, I believe that's 45 and 4. Right, so Israel was the chosen. Now when you go to the elect, in a messianic, if you like, context, dealing with the Messiah, dealing in this new time, the time to come salvation, it's dealing with the elect of the elect. So the elect, the picked out of the picked out nation. Right, so the elect of the nation of Israel. the elect of the nation of Israel. All Israel is the elect, right? The elect nation, but not all Israel is the elect, as in they're going to make it. So there's a special elect. So it said, picked out, chosen by the Most High, or chosen by God, as it's written for them, to obtain salvation through Hamashiach. Christians are called chosen or elect to the Most High. The Messiah is called elect, as appointed by the Most High, to the most exalted office conceivable. Choice, select, i.e. the best of its kind or class. Excellence, preeminent, applied to certain individual Christians. Right, so the best of its kind or class, the best of the Israelites. Israel, the Lord put above all people, his chosen nation, and then he chose, a group out of that. Elect or chosen, elect 16 times, chosen 7 times. So this is who, Peter was writing to. He was writing to certain strangers that were elected. Right, the elect. You go into that word again. Look at the uses. This is why it's so important. Matthew 24:31. And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. So why we focus on the elect? Because this is whose salvation was promised to before the foundation of the earth, right before the foundation of the world. As we even read in Peter there, elect according to the foreknowledge. Meaning what? Meaning that the Messiah had a group picked out for him, right? Just as the heavenly